Hello, good evening. We are very happy. Good evening, no, good morning. We are very happy to be here with you.
I would like to apologize for my English, but I hope you can understand what we are going to talk today. Well, I never studied design. I was a lawyer, and everything that I learned, it's with my hands and watching, observing. The base of our work is the manuale. We have a small studio in São Paulo, and I always say that it's a small school of crafts, becomes crafts more giving an upgrade to crafts.
And we had the chance to have been born in a countryside, in a place full of waterfalls. And when I was a kid, I want to be an astronaut.
And myself, indigenous from the Amazon.
Humberto instead, indigenous from Amazon.
And I think today I'm doing this, in a certain way, because since kids, I like to work with, to make my own toys in bamboo, cactus, clay. I remember the backyards of our home, there was a river. It was the forest, it's 50s. So I was used to make swimming pools. I put rocks in the river and create a pool for myself to swim. Well, the base of our work also is the materials. The materials, they speak louder for us. Everything starts from the material. The material tell us what he wants to be, the character looking for an author.
I think also that was a formula that we find in the 80s, 90s, when we didn't have so much how to afford for sophisticated tools for casting, for injection molding. So we found the same way that many Brazilians do to improvise their own lives. So, like...
the place where our studio is based is an area full of small shops of garden rose, bubble plastics. So we start looking around, bring those materials to our studio and kind of flirting with them. And this chair that is funny, the history, because it's made out of bubble wrap, is the history of the packing becoming the furniture. It was funny because 10 years ago, I sent this chair for an exhibition in Rio de Janeiro. And the next day when we got there, the chair was completely destroyed. And I asked them, what you have done? Oh, we are looking for the chair, And it was good because it's so simple. There was 8 screws that transpass the plastic, and then you attach in the back. So immediately I reconstruct the chair. So there is no mystery in our work. It's we try to construct the casualty.
With domestic elements that, like these drainers.
Water
drainers. We made a table out of that.
Also some materials that we had working in the beginning of our career, in the 90s, cardboard, make sofas, bricks. Because this kind of bricks, the name of it is cobogó. It's the whole Brazil, because it's a warm weather, all the houses have these bricks. So we construct some examples of furniture with those bricks.
They are air ventilation. They are used in the laundries, usually for air ventilation.
Charcoal. Could you please?
I have to follow the
Oh, this chair, it's funny because the chair that makes us known all over the world, project us. It was, we have projected this chair in 1993. 5 years later, 1998, the art director of Edra, a company based in Italy, Massimo Morosi, asked us he wants to produce this chair. It was impossible because this chair is a representation of chaos, casualty, deconstruction. So how to send him a project to him? So Fernando made a short video, myself weaving this chair, and they love it. They really want to sell the chair with the video. But then they call an artisan that was used to weave basket wickers in Sicilia. And since then, he's working in this company. It's funny because sometimes I say that we brought the handcraft to the European, Italian company, Edra.
This is what we most of the times inspire us is the poverty, but it's not the poverty only by the aesthetic of the poverty, and always by the smart solutions they gave for their houses or for their toys. And more we are connected with those ONGOs to produce our furniture. This is the famous favela chair. We made a bed. Also architecture inspired on those process.
This is funny because this is a hotel that we redesigned 5 years ago in Greece. And it was an old hotel, and we asked the owner not to throw nothing, all the old furniture, doors, everything. And we call a group of students of University Department of Architecture of the University of Thessaly in Athens. So they were the eyes to show what is the Greek culture, the modernity of Greek. So we made a workshop inside the hotel, meaning it was reconstructed. And every month we flew to Athens to give them some teams to investigate the Greek culture. And they made a collection of chairs from the old chairs. All those chairs now is in the hotel. All the slats of wood, we covered the parts of the walls of the hotel. And I like the history behind this hotel because we kind of renew everything from the old structure.
Another interest that we have is how to find new ways to upholstery a chair.
São Paulo is a kind of Persian market in the street. We see everything, materials, toys, and I like to walk by the city and observe these life pulses. I guess São Paulo is a very vibrant city, chaotic, noisy, happy. It's a bipolar city with the happiness and beauty. And that time we were interested to make a chair that have connection with affection, memories of our childhood, tenderness. We are kind of storytellers. We like every object of us tells histories, where it comes from.
Not only buying from the vendors in the street, but always, this time we start being involved with ONGOs that make things for us. We give money to them for poor people, and they supply us with elements for our chairs.
And at the same time, we rescue traditions that are disappearing. Brazil is very rich in crafts. So I guess our mission today is to rescue these traditions that are disappearing, and we try to give them kind of modernity, give them an upgrade in their designers, but without changing their roots. We like to maintain, but we put another eyes. I like to stay along with them, to work together, to start a relationship. It's funny because in the beginning it's very tense. They don't understand what I want to do, and myself, I get upset. Wow, we didn't achieve a common way. After a while, then it starts flowing very good, and one learns from the other. It's very, I love this situation.
And also they see the incoming coming from them, so they are very happy with that because it gives money.
And we project a chair made out of those dolls. Those dolls, they are made, handmade in the north of Brazil with all leftovers from the cloths in the fabrics. So we start absorbing their production to our objects. It's funny because we made this chair in 2001. We didn't have the intention to help nobody, you know. And after a while, we received some news that they bought a new house for them, for their production. So from that experience, today we have been doing a lot of this experience with different NGOs as well.
Another one, we work with prisoners, that they make the animals for us.
Those leather animals. So we are producing, made in our studio, small editions. And it's funny because sometimes small editions allow us to discuss with big companies like Alessi, Edra,
Lacoste in this case, because it was made in Rio de Janeiro, in a very poor community. So we put in contact big companies with those communities.
This chair is it's an investigation about to do a new upholstery without using the traditional upholstery, metal, wood. It's lots of pieces of cloth, rubber, felt. Could you please come back, Fernando? Yes, please leave. So, and one day we made a photo of this chair, and we saw the back of the bottom of the chair, and we noticed the colors randomly happened in the bottom. So we create a collection of chairs that we named sushi chairs because Brazil has a big community of Japanese. So everything, the Japanese food means for us rolls. California rolls, everything's named sushi. So we create this collection of chairs made in our studio with different materials, and also the colors, they construct the object. Some examples of those chairs that we have been doing in our studio, limited edition as well, again.
Sofas. Buffets. Heroes.
Yeah. Now this is another example. This is a popular dance in the north of Recife during the carnival. People use those big
Wigs.
and they dance rolling like those guys in Turkey. I don't remember the. You know what I mean?
They roll.
roll. So it's beautiful. Aesthetically, it's beautiful. And Louis Vuitton had asked us to project an object nomads, a collection to work with, reflect the nomadism. So inspired in these traditions, we create a series of cabinets made with the offcuts of Louis Vuitton. We ask that we would like to work with the leftovers from the fabric. And we construct the series of cabinets called Maracatu, the name of the dance in Brazil. One aspect very important in our work is the hybridism between our shy wood in the countryside and the urban side where we are living today, which is São Paulo. We make a fusion between these two universes. And Brazil is looks like a continental dimension. We have several materials, lots of fibers, natural fibers. And this series, we construct objects, creating a shock between a cold and warm materials.
Synthetic and natural. Or lamps.
This is funny because those bows are made by Alessi in Italy. And it's funny because the history, because they mass production. And they were interested to work with the natural fibers. Those bows are made in China and come back to Italy, they resell. So it's interesting how our work gets inside. It's in another way, it's funny, casual how things happen.
In this case, for instance, is baccarat. We put together two different traditions, one very sophisticated and the other one more popular, the bamboo or straw, all made in crystal. And this collection we named Brazilian Baroque. We were invited to make an exhibition in Rome that we need to find a beautiful place and a historical place in Rome and work with the tradition. We have to choose everything marble or bronze, so we choose bronze ornaments. And we make a patchwork of those bronze ornaments of the 17th century, and we mix with bamboo. And this project's all made in Rome with an artisan. I stay along with him, and we work together. This collection we name it Transplastic. I love those water gallons in my house, so I start weaving plastic with weaving wicker with plastic. And we create a story. We imagine a world full of plastics and the nature invading the plastic. So we create all those gallons, water gallons. This is made in Vietnam with another NGO. We rescue the tradition wicker as well, the motorcycle tires. It's funny, observing these chairs, we create also a series of chairs weaved in plastic, weaved in wicker. This is the guy in our studio. Sometimes our studio is full of activities, handmade activities, weaving, sewing, broderie. It's very alive, very, very alive. And the result was extra comfort for those chairs.
We just have 3 minutes. Let's go fast.
Okay. So the whole collection is based on this.
Sometimes we go to a big dimension, like we make those camper shoe stores, all weaving in wicker.
Oops.
What happened?
Sorry. We were cut.
Also observing the tradition, the guys weaving those Austrian chairs in the streets of São Paulo, we create this collection where we start to recuperate the tradition in weaving. And we kind of got all those leftovers from those chairs and we weave again with plastic, with nylon.
In the last research that we are doing, it is with coconut fiber and wood. We call it capacho.
Again, it's a hybrid between high technology and straw. This chandelier we made 2003 for Swarovski, where we mix crystal beads, optical fiber, and straw. The construction, this straw are the houses from indigenous people. So now today we are working a lot of this straw from a palm tree. And
can be in installation in bigger scale, like for Vitra Design Museum or the Maxis in Rome. Or the Fashion Week in São Paulo, we made all the...
This installation was made in Sweden last year, and now we are finishing this house all covered, the facade in this straw piaçava. And now we are going to show our latest collection. We have opened a show in São Paulo working with an artisan that lives in this area of very dry in Brazil. He was used to work for cowboys in Brazil, make clothing for them. And we invited him to create a collection together. We project the objects, and he covered those objects with his work. So
And
it's
that
this.
is-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I adore everything you do. And I have some questions. First of all, when you started off as designers, you reused materials out of necessities. And now you're big stars, so you have access to anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Does this influence your designs, the way you design?
Oh, it's still,
Yeah?
because we keep this soul, this line of work by reusing, or also with the social responsibility, which is very important in our country.
Yes. Is this also why you stay in the studio in Sao Paulo? Also because of the social responsibility?
Okay.
Is that, is
I
that
didn't understand. Sorry.
did you ever think of moving to New York for your work or Amsterdam?
No. I think the inspiration comes from Brazil, you know. I like to live that situation that brings me to another limit, you know.
Yes.
I like to travel a lot, all over Brazil, the world, but I like to come back, and because I guess it's a mission to have a studio in São Paulo where I teach, I bring artisans, and we stay together working, discussing, and to make an upgrade, also to stimulate other people,
Yes.
to contaminate. I like our work contaminates, you know, brings kind of, you can do it. Just watch, bring home, and work on them. Get the DNA of the material.
It was a chance that gave us the possibility to show people that can be made in another ways, not only in the industrial process.
Exactly. Well, yesterday we had another famous star from Brazil, the chef Alex Atala, and I thought, is there a similarity in your work? Can we speak of a Brazilian design movement?
We could say in Brazilian design investigation
Yes.
about our culture, our roots, the blend of races, the melting pot that we have of races there, from the Afros, Portuguese, indigenous first, Asiatics, Italians, everybody. Everybody is welcome. Seems to have this kind of big mama heart.
Until the 80s, you know, Brazilian designers were much influenced by European design. And I guess, modestly, you know, me and Fernando, we show the new generation that another world, other possibilities, you know, to investigate our roots, to be proud of our roots, not to try to be someone that you don't belong, you know. So I guess we contaminate a new generation of young designers, and they are so good, you know. Not in São Paulo, but all the north, the poor areas, connecting again with the crafts, you know, the tradition. It's a very nice moment in Brazil, culturally speaking.
Is there a question?
There is. I think it's a very serious question because several women in the audience, Johanna, Andra, various others, have asked whether they could adopt you as brothers. So the question really is, are you looking for a sister?
No, to have a brother, that's enough.
That's enough.
We are fighting backyards.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fernando, Humberto Campana, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.